Police are in receipt of information to suggest
loyalist paramilitaries,
violent dissident Republicans,
may seek to take some form of violent action against you.
The use of firearms
or an under-vehicle device
or under-a-car explosive device cannot be ruled out.
The dissident Republicans plan to carry out a serious physical attack on journalist Alison Morris.
This may occur at their place of work. Police believe this refers to you.
No further details are known.
I believe journalism is the lifeblood of democracy. We are the voice for those who don't get the chance to quiz politicians, hold criminals to account as well as power.
We are giving the voice to communities that are absolutely, held to ransom, by paramilitary gangs. And it's dangerous coming to us, but they come to us quicker than going to the PSNI. So we're actually exposing more sometimes.
We're a post-conflict society. We still have all of the loyalist paramilitaries remain intact. Then we have dissident Republican paramilitary groups. You're shining a light on something that they clearly don't want to be reported.
The threats, I think, in the paramilitary world kind of evolved into a much more overtly criminal operation. Drugs became a big issue here. Criminality became more prevalent. Then journalist security became more precarious.
Shocked colleagues at the Sunday World, now covering a story they never wanted to see on the front page.
Martin O'Hagan had received death threats before. It was part and parcel of his work as an investigative journalist. But when he was shot dead here last night, that is the first time a journalist in Northern Ireland has been killed by terrorists.
It devastated us all because we were such a tight team. That was when I realised, this is a different ballgame now. It actually made us more determined. It actually made us more determined to expose the people who killed Martin and also people like them.
Mr. O'Hagan's reporting has exposed drug dealing and criminal racketeering by paramilitary groups.
Journalists here are getting threatened by people who have killed before and, possibly will kill again. So they can't be underestimated.
To receive bullets in the post was quite a thing. When you open the letter and there's your picture with the crosshairs and there's a handful of bullets. On a mass card which was signed off by South Belfast UVF. It was a very stark morning. Police officer arrive at the door and say that they've received information that implies a threat against my safety or my life. They hand me this TM1 form, which is a very brief form. It outlines in a few sentences what the nature of the threat is.
On one of the occasions I was woken up, I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, by the police banging the door, and you're sort of waking up, what the hell is that? Who's that?
The first time that happens is terrifying, even though you're kind of anticipating it, and they give you a booklet and then they leave.
After I received this one saying an under-vehicle device cannot be ruled out, there was then a pipe bomb thrown in my street and the whole street had to be evacuated. No one was ever even arrested for that, even though I know that that was actually quite a serious threat. One of the bosses said, look, I think it's about time you thought about moving house. And I put to where? I mean, I would move and within 3 months they would know where I lived again anyway. There is an intelligence world which the police are very protective of, but the protection of their agents over the protection of journalists has always been a priority.
I think it's important to speak out because outside of Northern Ireland, people do not realise the extent to which this is happening.
Everybody has the right to tell their story. Stopping the press is stopping people. It's stopping people's voices.
To my knowledge, in my profession who's received similar threats, there's been no prosecution. So that's a deficit and it makes you feel very isolated. There's no way you give in to this sort of threat. You just can't. If you back off, then they've won.
So far, no one has been jailed in relation to the murder of Martin O'Hagan.
Northern Ireland is part of the UK. I have no doubt the same number of journalists were being threatened on the streets of London as are being threatened on the streets of Belfast. A lot more would have been done.